Hey everyone, welcome back to Beauty School Bobbi. Today I am joined by the one and only Theresa Van Dam. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So I know most of you watching or listening know Theresa Van Dam from her skits on TikTok. So I'm so excited to talk about your rise to fame, what that has meant for you. And then we're going to catch up about getting to see each other soon at America's Beauty Show. So
Yes.
I have so much to talk to you about. First of all, how are you? How is everything going?
I'm good. Everything's been really good. I'm in deep infertility treatments right now, but everything's been going pretty swimmingly with that. So that's always a good thing.
How long have you been doing that?
Probably about a year now.
Okay.
The testing itself takes like a year.
Wow.
Or more. It's a lot. It's a long process, much longer than I was expecting it to be, I think.
Yeah. Have you shared this online and I've just missed it?
Yeah, I've shared it. I've shared little bits and pieces. I haven't gone into detail or anything, but.
Yeah. Are you naturally a very open person, or have you had to really come out of your shell to do what you're doing now in front of millions of people?
I'm an open book.
Are you?
I'm a chronic oversharer. Everybody in my life knows everything about me, even the really TMI parts. I didn't have to change anything. I'm very open.
I love that. And so does everybody else, obviously. You are so famous, which I know is probably weird for you to be like, oh yeah, that's what I am at this point. But you are. And I've seen you grow over the last few years that we've got to see each other at America's Beauty Show. And it has just been so awesome. I know that one of the first times that you went to America's Beauty Show, you had a large following, obviously. It's grown, I know, since then. But what was that experience like for you going into being around people where people knew you and people were recognizing you? Tell me what that experience was like.
The first time was easily the most overwhelming. I was super overwhelmed. I don't think I was expecting that level. I wasn't expecting to be as bombarded as I was. We ended up getting stuck in the lobby for probably 6 hours. It was crazy. Definitely overwhelming. It was a learning curve. And I'm not a huge fan of being the center of attention. Picked the wrong career for that, but I got used to it a lot more by the second time. I kind of knew more what to expect, and then it became a little bit easier there. I knew my boundaries. Mm-hmm. The first year, it was I was smiling for so many pictures with so many people that my husband was my photographer, and at one point he was like, your face isn't moving anymore. You're not smiling. And I was like, yes, I am. He was like, no, you're not. My face muscles hurt so bad. But yeah, by the second time I was like, all right, I know my boundaries. I can't get stuck in the same place for 6 hours. I have to be able to move around. Otherwise I'll be exhausted.
Yeah, it's a lot. And it's a lot. It's already being at a hair show is super overstimulating anyways. But then to do it with a ton of people around you where you want to be kind and nice because these are people that follow you and these are people that love you. And so you want to be nice and kind and all of those things. But yeah, we all have our limits of what we can do. Yes. So I'm thankful that you have realized what you need. And I'm so excited about this upcoming year. I seriously
me too.
Cannot wait. I'm counting down the days. You're teaching a class this year at ABS, correct?
Yeah, I'm teaching 2 separate classes.
Okay.
Yes.
What are you going to be teaching? What are you going to be sharing with us at ABS?
So I'm going to be doing the same class that I did last year, which was my oil slick class, which is my dark rainbows and stuff like that. And then I'm also teaching an intro to Vivids class. So that's more of the basics, the science behind vivid hair color and stuff like that.
That's so exciting.
I'm so stoked about it. This is going to be my first time teaching the intro to Vivids class. It's a brand new class. So
have people been asking you for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, I want to get into Vivids, but I go to your classes and I don't understand a word you're saying. And I'm like, okay, well then I'll have one, it's a little bit more like the science behind it, kind of get you ready to start with Vivids without, before jumping into all of the like super in-depth techniques and stuff.
Yeah. Now I know that some of the other influencers that will be attending our teaching classes as well on like social media stuff, mental health issues, like stuff like that. How did you decide to choose like a technical class?
ABS asked me to teach a technical class specifically, but also I'm just more into like hair. Hair is my passion. It's my everything. I love social media, but it's always going to come second to hair for me. Hair is my everything. I absolutely love it. So that's just what I love to teach. It's what I love to do.
Your Vivids are wild. Like I know a lot of people see you and know you like from your skits and stuff, but I first found you because of your hair color. Like, I mean, it is absolutely incredible. It's such art. And I love that you've gained a following for being like, doing both of the things that you do so well. But you're seriously so talented. And I love to hear you say that like the social media stuff comes second, because I know that there's a point where you've had to make a decision of like, am I going to keep, and you're doing both so well. But I know that there had to have been a time that you had to make that decision. What was that like when you kind of said, how many clients am I going to take? I now have income from this other thing I'm doing. Share a little bit about what that was like.
I think a lot of my friends who I've met through social media, a lot of them quickly like cut down their books, took less clients, and like really wanted to focus on social media. And at first I felt a lot of pressure to do that, not necessarily from them, but just from society. It just seemed like that's what I was supposed to do. Like, you have this following now. And it seemed almost like for a lot of people online and just the way that they would talk, that like the goal of the hair industry is to get to a point where you don't have to do hair anymore. And I was like, no, I can't do that. I have to do hair. I need a creative outlet. I have to be doing something with my hands. I can't just not. I do hair because I love it. And I think I thought about it. I thought about cutting down my hours. I thought about cutting down my clientele, and I just didn't like the idea of it, because I love getting to do what I love every single day. And so I didn't want to give that up. It just wasn't something that I was willing to put on the back burner.
That's such an interesting perspective, because it is one of those things where so many people are trying to gain a following, right? And once you get there, being like, okay, well, that's that, and I have that thing, but like you did it. And it's but you're still able to be a hairstylist. I think that conversation is probably going to be happening a lot more now. I think you're probably a little bit ahead of the curve. You all together, and I talked about this with Kendra and with Bailey, and when we did our episodes together, but you all were at the forefront of this. So you all were really the first big influencers that weren't like doing like celebrity hairstyling, like doing like real hair, just everyday people. And so there's gonna be, like you said, a learning curve with that, and everybody's handled it a little bit different, which I think is good, because I think you all have to do what works best for you, and what's going to be best for you like long term. And I think everyone's kind of, it feels like right now, I don't know if you feel this, but or if I'm just on the outside seeing this, it feels like everyone's navigating it differently and figuring out just a kind of a different way to do things. I know that some people have not stopped doing hair, but we're doing less hair, and now they're back to doing hair again. And I think that it's really cool to see you all navigate what's going to work for you.
Yeah, I think it's everybody's so different, and our personalities are so different, and so it's going to look different for absolutely every single one of us. For me, it was like, okay, well, I'm not willing to give up hair. For other people, it was like social media became their passion and their love, and that's just what they wanted, to really, really focus on, but then like also still have hair. but just, do a little bit less of it. And as for me, it was just like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm a hairstylist first. I'm a content creator second. I don't think that'll ever change for me.
Yeah. What are you most looking forward to about ABS this year? What are you like? What are you excited about? What are you thinking about? Like, what moment are you like, I can't wait for this?
I'm excited to be teaching a new class. I think this year I really want to focus on like not so much just the meet and greets and the panels and the classes and stuff, but I really want to really make it a priority this year to go out and like see the show and be in the show and just like experience it a little bit more in between my classes and stuff. To however that's possible, of course. That's easier said than done because sometimes we don't make it very far, but I really want to try to just see a little bit more of the show this year. I feel like I didn't really try that at all last year. In between my classes, we were kind of just like cooped up in places. And I just want to see more of it. Yeah.
I'm really excited. We obviously get to be out in it the whole time. And I think that you will have a completely different experience getting to do that, even if it has to be like, hey, love you, get a quick pic, but like, I got to run because I'm going here, like you said, you'll identify those boundaries and figure out, what's going to be best for you. You're so self-aware. And I think that you at least know what you need. And that's 100% like the most important thing. So I want to talk to you a little bit about how you got started in the beauty industry. I mean, you said hair is your passion. You need to be doing something with your hands. Tell me about when you first realized that this was the career path that you were going to take.
So art has always been my thing. I've always loved art. I took a ton of art classes in high school, and I've just always been an artist to some degree. And at first I wanted to go to art school, but there's not a ton of job security in that field. And so my mom was like, why don't you do hair? That's still art. And I was like, I guess. And she convinced me. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And so I went to beauty school. My first day, I came home and I sobbed to my mom because I was like, I think this is it. I think I'm going to love this. This is going to be amazing. And I was very much right.
That's awesome. How long ago did you go to beauty school?
I graduated beauty school in 2016. So I started it in 2015.
Okay, awesome. And tell me a little bit about what your beauty school experience was like. Was it just so happy to have found your people? Like to find like people that are like you? Is that what it was like?
It was, but beauty school is also very brutal. It can be very intimidating, and you have to do a lot of the things that you don't necessarily love or want to specialize in. Like having to do nails and stuff sucked. Having to do facials sucked because I didn't want to do any of that. And girls in beauty school, they could be pretty intense. I feel like I had a generally good experience with it, but there was definitely a lot of just frustrations about getting through those things that I knew I didn't want in my career. Like I didn't care about perms, I didn't care about facials, I didn't care about nails, and it was like it felt long because of that.
Were you attracted to Vivids immediately? Like were you like
immediately?
Okay, yeah, when you got into color you were like, oh, that's what I want.
Yes, and I wasn't allowed to do Vivids in beauty school, so I didn't even get like my foot in the door there.
Wait, what?
We didn't have them.
You weren't allowed?
Nope, we didn't have them in the school. You couldn't bring them to the school. There was that was not in the curriculum. You could not touch that.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was wild. And which sucked. I knew that's what I wanted to specialize in. I mean, I love color in general, but Vivids was that's really, really where my interest was. And so it sucked that I felt like I really didn't get to start even dipping my toes into that until I graduated.
Was there someone that you looked up to that was doing Vivids? Was there somebody that you were following and you were like, oh, that's what, or were you getting your hair done by somebody that was doing that? Or how did you get introduced to it?
Doing it on my own hair is what introduced me to it. I would lots of science experiments in my parents' basement, I'll tell you that. Throughout high school and stuff, I always did crazy stuff to my hair. I would experiment with colors. So I had a pretty good handle on like just how Vivids worked in general. I didn't know a lot of the science behind it and stuff like that. But I knew that you had to lighten the hair first before you put the Vivids on. That was about the extent of it. But doing it on myself was what made me think like, oh my God, I would love to do this on other people. Yeah, I could never find anybody that could do them well on me. And I didn't really see a ton of it happening anywhere, to be honest. They really weren't prevalent at that time.
Where are you located? Where were you at?
The South Chicago suburbs.
Okay. So it wasn't a ton of like different things going on. Did you?
There's still not.
Yeah. You're like, I still want more. Are you, when you were experimenting, was there anything, did you ever, like, what was the worst thing that you did to your hair that you were like, I cannot believe I did that? And now, like, you would kill someone if they did it.
Oh, I used pink and purple splat, put them all over my hair. And I had remnants of pink and purple for probably like a year and a half. Nobody could get it out. I couldn't get it out. I went to stylists. No one could get that out of my hair because splat is essentially fabric dye. Does not come back out. It's horrible. And that was my biggest mistake. I regretted that a lot. That's how I learned how bad splat was. Nobody told me. I just slapped it all over my head and found out the hard way.
Yeah. And now you know.
Now I know. Now when someone says like, oh yeah, I have like blue splat all over my hair, I'm like, oh. I don't know. We can try. We'll do a test strand, but I can't promise you anything.
Yeah. Now you're, in your videos that you post, you're very honest about everything. You are very open to share your experiences and your feelings, which I think is so amazing. I watched one recently and I was like, I love that you're talking about this. But you shared a video recently where you were talking about it seemed like a child or somebody younger wanting color on their hair. And a parent or guardian or whoever not being supportive of that or not wanting them to, be able to express themselves in that way. And for some reason, there is this idea, and I'm older than you, so I remember even like when I was younger of like hair color being like people judging that, like judging you for having a certain color of hair, which is so crazy to me. But talk to me about what made you want to share that and kind of speak out about that. I mean, I know you have such a heart for people, but talk to me about that specifically.
So that's something that's very common. Anytime I've taken anybody under the age of 18 and they have a parent that's coming with and they're asking for any type of Vivid, there's usually a lot of at least concerns from the parent's side, not necessarily them always stopping them. It's happened a few times, but there's always at least that concern. There's this stigma that, sorry, that's right off. There's this stigma that, Vivids are very damaging, and they're not. Bleach damages your hair, yes, but Vivids are shampoo based. They don't do any type of damage to hair at all. And so there's always a lot of concerns from the parents or guardians sides about that because they don't want their child's hair to get damaged. And unfortunately, there is some like political aspects to it too. Mm-hmm. Of course, people always feel like they're going to be stereotypical and they're going to be judged if their child has any color in their hair.
Or like being different in like any way, unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately. So I try to educate and just like kind of help people to understand more about Vivid color in general and that it's just hair. Yeah. It's going to grow back. And I think it's important to let kids express themselves because that's how they're really going to get a feel for who they are earlier on in life and not later after they've already made maybe even bigger decisions that they regret, you know?
And I was watching that and maybe it's just like the mom in me, but I was watching that as a like, so thankful for the person that was getting their hair done, or the person that is in the chair that gets to have you be a role model for them. Because I think that if there is somebody that's in that situation, they probably aren't able to be themselves wholly yet, like in a real
Yeah.
authentic way. But I'm sure that when they're with you, they do feel like they have that freedom to express themselves, or like maybe talk to you about things that they aren't able to talk to other people about. Do you find that they're opening up a little bit more to you because you look like how they want to look, and you have a style that they like, and all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just playing the part and, looking like the clients that you want to take is super important.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily have like the funnest hair color, but I mean, red is just my favorite. But it's still bright, and it's still one of those things that makes the old ladies clutch their pearls and stuff. But yeah, I think that especially kids, when they're seeing someone that's older who's going to be doing their hair and they look in a way that they would consider cool, it does, like, they do automatically trust you a little bit more.
You get more time with your guests, I think, sometimes than somebody who's just doing like haircuts or like quick services,
Yes.
because you're doing such detailed hair and such detailed
Yeah.
work. Tell me about some of your relationships with your clients and what that does for you.
Oh my God. So many of my clients have become like my best friends at this point. I have a lot of clients that I literally talk to every single day. We hang out. I mean, you really get to know people when you're with them for 4 to 8 hours doing their hair. You really get to know them. Yeah, my chair is loud. There's a lot of laughing. It's fun. I feel like I get to hang out with my friends all day, and I couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah. Well, you're so lucky. I know that you've got an amazing community. So the students at the beauty school know that I'm doing this series with you all about ABS and like all the things. And one of the students had asked me, I told them that I was interviewing you, and they all love you and look up to you so much. So I know they are going to be so excited about this episode. But one of the things that they wanted to know, and they actually asked Bailey and Siri this when Bailey and Siri came to the school, and I was like, oh, that's so funny. I didn't think of this question as something that they would have thought of. But one of the things that they had asked them when they were there was, you got famous and you're very well known. And as we know, there's nothing that can be just good. There's with everything that's good, there is usually a negative that comes along with that. So I know that this year specifically has been a little different for you from getting hateful feedback from people. I mean, so much so that you had to like take a break, like death threats, like all the really terrible, scary things about the internet that are out there. Tell me about how you handle that and what that's like, because again, you have fame and you have like all of these good things in a really great community, but it's hard for the bad noise to not outweigh that. So talk to me a little bit about what your experience has been like.
My therapist helps. She helps a ton. That's huge. I think prioritizing your mental health, whether it's medication, therapy, things like that. I mean, I know that to a lot of people, that sounds extreme because they're just hate comments. It's just people online. They're just trolls. You can't let it bother you. But it's not that easy. When you're getting hundreds or thousands of hate comments, sometimes even death threats like I was dealing with back in December, truly, it gets to you. There's not a single person on this earth that it wouldn't get to. Yeah. I think therapy is the biggest thing that helps me. I also always try to find outlets. My clients are huge for that. They are amazing. As soon as all of that went down in December, every client that I had that week just came in and like hugged me. They were bringing me stuff, making me gifts and things like that. Having a really good support system around you and people that you can talk to is just so important. You can't keep it bottled in. Even if you don't want to talk about it, you have to with someone. Venting is the best thing for it.
That's like another thing of why I think your chair and having your clients still is really important too, because if you're only living online, you're going to have a
Yeah.
skewed version of what reality is and like how people
Yes.
really feel. Like I'm sure that kept you really grounded when you're like, okay, I can stay off of this. I'm still going to go in and be here and be present with the people that
Yes.
love me and the people that really know me, not people online, you know? I'm sure that
Yes.
that was a big thing. What advice do you have for somebody that is coming into this industry, maybe in beauty school right now, or maybe recently graduated from beauty school? What do you tell people about this, or what do you wish people would know?
Um, oh God, there's so many. The first thing I always tell people is to never sign a non-compete, but I feel like that's a more simple one. Honestly, in order to make it in this career, a lot of people think that you need to have followers and you need to post on social media. And while social media is a great tool and it's awesome to use as free advertising and marketing for yourself, it's not everything. And, if you really want to be a successful hairstylist, numbers aren't everything. And I always there's just so many people out there right now that are like, oh, you're like my idol. I want to be just like you. I want to get like a ton of followers. And that's why I'm going to beauty school. And I'm like, well, so those two things don't actually have anything to do with each other, and I think it's just really important to not forget your passion. If you really want to be successful in this industry, you really need to have a passion for hair, nails, just beauty in general, whatever side of the beauty industry you're going into.
Yeah, it is becoming, I mean, it's one of those things too, where like, and I've heard in elementary schools and stuff, like the number one, like, what do you want to be when you grow up now has changed to, I want to be a YouTuber and I want to be whatever. And I think it's so important. What you said is so perfect, because it is that you have to have passion first. I really feel like the inauthenticity of people, like you can see it online when it's not real. So I think that's the other thing too, is like you said, one doesn't equal, the other. It has to be that you are passionate about it first, passionate about people, and then hopefully the following and stuff comes. But like you said, I mean, you're navigating this a little bit differently too, like I said, of doing both and figuring out what this actually like looks like for you long term. So what is something that you're looking forward to, other than ABS, but what is something that you're looking forward to that's coming up or that you have going on in the future?
In November, I'm going to be teaching a class at the Rainbow Convention in New York.
Fun.
Yes, I'm excited about that.
That's amazing.
Jordan called me. She made me cry. She was so nice to me on the phone. I was like, oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I turned down most other hair shows because it is just like a lot for me. But that one, just being the Rainbow Convention, being so centered around Vivids, I needed to say yes to that.
Yeah.
It's like, those are my people.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's huge. I can't wait to see what hair you do for that.
Oh, I haven't quite decided yet. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. But I would love to do something more, because it's a lot of Vivid artists already. I would like to do something, a little bit more in depth, a little bit more advanced,
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's so exciting. I think that that's going to be amazing. I think, again, you're the perfect person for that. So Theresa, where can we follow you? Where do you want everyone to come see you?
You can follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. I have the same handle pretty much everywhere. My Facebook is just my name though. TikTok is my main platform, and I hope that it doesn't go away, because I think I'll always love TikTok, regardless of the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for taking time for us today. I know you are so busy, so I'm so thankful that you made time, and I can't wait to see you at the show. And I know if people haven't got their tickets yet, they can still get tickets to come to your classes. I've been giving a little disclaimer of something that I know kind of happened last year. I know that people are lining up for your classes. You all have like packed classrooms. So I've been giving the little hint of like, get there early, make sure that you get your spot a little bit ahead of time.
Yes.
Because
they will kick you out if there's not enough room.
Yes.
They do start escorting people away.
Yeah. Yes. So I can't wait to see you. I'm so excited to see you. I'm going to give you the biggest hug, and I can't wait to just all be together again. But thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. If you are listening as a podcast, make sure that you give us a 5-star review, and make sure you catch us on Beauty and Style Network. Thank you so much, Theresa.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
All right. Bye.
Bye.